Hi,
Good
this is Brenda Stone-Cipher. I am the chair of the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee, and we are here today with Simone Tarver of the City Administration and the members of our committee. I think at this point we have a few members that might be straggling in, but let's go ahead and do some introductions. So Simone, I'll have you start first, and then we'll go with the committee members, and hopefully maybe a couple more will enter by then.
Awesome. Thank you so much. My name is Simone Tarver. I am a project manager and the public information officer for the city, and I'm super excited to be here staffing LTAC.
Thank you, Simone. Tia, how about you next?
I'm Tia Winch. I'm Deputy Director at Imagine Children's Museum, and I'm very excited to be sitting on this committee. It's been a long time order and project.
Thank you. Kyle?
Hi, my name is Kyle Whitney. I am the General Manager of the Courtyard by Marriott in Seattle, Everett downtown. Just excited to be here and be a part of this. It's going to be fun.
Thank you. And Lisa?
Lisa Sarabong, Administrative Assistant for our Engagement Department at the City of Everett. Thank you.
Thank you. We have Pipa on here as well. She's a little behind the scenes. I'm Brenda Stone-Cipher, President of the City Council, and as I said, Chair of the committee. So let's just have, maybe Simone, you can give us kind of the overview of the application review process, and then maybe so we kind of understand what we're doing, and then we'll talk a little bit about the long-term expenses, and then we'll go through the other applicants.
Perfect. Lisa, can you share the PowerPoint?
Yes, I can. Just give me one moment.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So this year we were super fortunate. We got 29 applicants. 29 different applications from organizations from the community, which is awesome. So kind of the process for today, first we'll start with those long-term expenditures like Council President Stone-Cipher mentioned. And then I'll kind of give a little bit of an overview of each application, and I'll try and, give a good amount of information, but be brief so that, we can get through them. And then we will be able to kind of take a look at how you have ranked each of those applications and start to talk about how we want to allocate those funds. So I imagine during that portion, if you have any questions, I can answer questions about applications or answer questions about the process. And then we'll just kind of go through application by application and then kind of see where we land. We have $545,000 total. And then we have $844,364 of requests. So we won't be able to give everyone 100%, but we will be able to get a lot of great recommendations for great events. So that's kind of a good little overview. Lisa, can you go to the next slide? Actually, I think this is not the right presentation. Is this what I sent you, Lisa? I'm so sorry. Okay, well, we don't need the slides.
So sorry about that.
It's okay. So I'll pass it back over to you, Council President Stone-Cipher.
Okay.
Is there any questions?
So the application review process, I just wanted to kind of cover up a few things. By state law, we are collecting, obviously, the tax on lodging, and then we have a responsibility to allocate that out. It can be used for sort of some specific things, can always be used for promotional activities or most promotional activities. And then it can be used for also production of events. It's tended to be obviously, hopefully, driving tourism and driving hotel stays, because Kyle would like his hotel full at all times. And so we're looking and trying to take a look at that. We have a series of criteria on which we are sort of gauging the potential success of each event. And so we sent that around. We can talk about those as we get to each of the events. But we, so we are going to have to be making trade-offs. Obviously, we have about 800,000, more than 800,000 requests and 500,000 to dole out. So we'll be having to do some negotiation around who gets what. And then if we end up in a position where we're over, we may have to go back and do some horse trading in the end as well. Let's see, looks like, okay, Simone, you've got your PowerPoint now.
Got it now.
There you go.
So we'll go to slide 2, Lisa.
This is Pipa. My apologies for the interruption. Could we share make it full screen, Lisa, instead of the actual file? So do a slideshow.
I apologize. Is this working?
We see the actual slides, not the slideshow. We see because that's going to be tiny on broadcast.
Okay, 1 second.
I apologize.
I apologize too.
Oh, Gail's
No
here.
I'll put it up, Lisa.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll go ahead and stop sharing.
No problem.
Hi, Gail. While they're doing that, Gail, we missed your introduction. Will you introduce yourself and where you're from?
Yeah, I am so sorry. I'm in the YMCA, so you never know what is going to bounce on your door. I'm Gail Jabot, and I'm currently defined as the Association Director for Membership in Health and Wellness, and I also do 50% of my job at the Everett YMCA.
Thank you.
Perfect. Well, are we ready to maybe go over the long-term expenditures?
Yep, let's go to long-term expenditures next.
Perfect. Alrighty, so these are things that are typically awarded each year, and it's LTAC's decision on whether they will be awarded again this year. And so item number 1 is the multi-purpose facility. And so that involves the management of the Angel of the Winds Arena. And that's $100,000, and that goes toward paying down debt for the facility. And we do this typically each year. And basically the arena is on public land, and but it's actually privately owned. And so that's kind of one of the contributions we're able to make. And the arena is a really great asset for our community and makes a really big contribution to our downtown. And then item number 2 is the Visit Everett Tourism Program. And this is part of our Economic Development Department, and it's $150,000, and that goes toward marketing the city's assets. That program is managed by Julio Cortez, who is the previous staff liaison for this commission. For this year, they have their target market is people coming into the city locally. So a lot of the drive market, but also they're doing some work with the fly market in partnership with the county. The goal really is to get people to come to the city, stay in our hotels, eat in our restaurants, shop at our stores. And so 2023, they're focusing on, really showcasing what our city has to offer and all the great ways that we're growing and changing. And so any questions on either of these items or on next steps?
We a few years ago, I think a couple years ago, we increased the amount that was being spent on the tourism program. And part of that was that we were going to get a report back on the effectiveness of some of the social media contracts that we had. I know Julio was not he's in the legislature right now and probably not working full time for the city if he's working at all. But I think at some point it might be helpful for the committee to have a report on the tourism program, just to make sure that we understand the, again, that we're yielding results with the spending that we're doing.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we can put together and share with this group sometime in the near future. I can connect with Julio and the team on what good data we have to share.
Great, thank you. So I think we have to vote to approve these. So do I hear a motion to approve the 2 long-term expenditures?
I motion to approve. Oh.
Second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye or raise your hand. Aye. And no opposed and no abstentions. Thank you.
Perfect. And so then next we'll start our application review. So buckle up. We've got a lot to go through, a lot of great events to hear about. So right now they're just in alphabetical order. So there's no preference given to the order. It's just alphabetical. So first we have Apex Racing Omnium, which is a multi-day bike race being put on by the Apex Racing Seattle group on July 1st and 2nd of this year. They're asking for $15,000, with most of that going toward operational expenses, like permitting, renting the equipment that they need, like portable restrooms, audio equipment, and then they intend for $1,000 to go toward marketing. This event does charge for racers to participate. They expect to have 500 participants, including participants and their families, and they think that it could produce up to 400 lodging nights. And then next we have Caroling in the Park, Bayside. And so this is a community holiday music and outdoor event at Clark Park being put on by the Bayside Neighborhood Association and Alley Cat on December 1st of this year. They're asking for $6,000, and $3,000 would go toward marketing, and then $3,000 would go towards operational expenses like portable restrooms, pop-up tents, portable heaters, that kind of stuff. This would be a free event. And it's an event that's been promoted as part of Wintertide in the past. And they expect to have about 175 participants. And they aren't sure about overnight lodging nights yet. They expect maybe a couple, but it is part of their plan to encourage folks to stay overnight. Then we have City of Everett.
Just a minute, Simone. For the committee members, would it be easier if we talked about each one individually as we go through? What's your preference? Or should we go through them all and then discuss them?
I'm okay with going through them all.
Okay, great. Okay, keep going, Simone.
Perfect. Yeah, and I mean, if anyone jumps in and feels compelled, like, yes, we should give this group 100%, feel free to hop in and, if you feel like it. So City of Everett, priority application number 1 is the 4th of July Colors of Freedom Festival. And so that's the city's 4th of July Community Festival and Fireworks Show at Legion Park on July 4th. And it's a free event. They're asking for $30,000, and that's $5,000 for marketing, and then $25,000 for operational costs, again, like portable restrooms, stage and sound rentals, entertainment, and then other event activities. This is one that they have applied in the past. Last year, this project was rewarded $20,000. They estimate 25,000 visitors and 200 to 250 lodging nights. For City of Everett application priority number 2, Wintertide. So that's the City of Everett suite of holiday events, including the tree lighting, outdoor holiday makers market, holiday lighting, and more in November and December. They're asking for $50,000, and that's $15,000 for marketing, $35,000 for operational costs like the tree lighting, makers market, adding more holiday decorations, event security, portable restrooms. And then number 3 is Sorticulture. And, estimated 550,000 visitors based on their Datify data, and the overnight stays are TBD. And then City of Everett application 3, Sorticulture is the city's garden arts festival with plants for sale, live entertainment, workshops, and more. And that takes place 9th through 11th. They're asking for $30,000, $12,500 for marketing, and $17,500 for operational costs like entertainment rentals, AV, portable restrooms, security. They've applied the last 5 years. Last year, they received $15,000, and they estimate 25,000 plus visitors and 500 to 750 lodging nights. And then the last City of Everett application coming from Parks is for Jetty Island Days. And so that's the city's Jetty Island Day program, which runs from July 5th to September 3rd. And this includes staff to serve visitors and to provide programming like nature walks, art events, beach yoga, and more. And so they're asking for $45,000, and that goes toward project-specific personnel 5 days a week for the duration of the project. And so they charge $5 per person to take the ferry, but they are working on having free opportunities for families to be able to go. And they've applied for LTAC for 3 times in the last 5 years and received $20,000 last year. They expect 23,000 visitors and approximately 2,200 lodging nights. And then we have Cruise in Colby, which is a downtown car show and concert over Memorial Day weekend, May 27th through 29th. They're asking for $65,000, with $10,000 going to marketing, $35,000 for production/project expenses like entertainment and security, $20,000 for equipment like stage and sound rentals, portable restrooms, etc. Car owners pay $25 to participate, but spectators are free. And then they do charge for the concert that's part of Cruise in Colby. They've applied for LTAC 4 times in the last 5 years, and they received $15,000 last year. They expect 60,000 plus visitors and 350 to 500 lodging nights. Then we have the Downtown Flower Program, which is put on by the Downtown Everett Partners. And this is a program that gets volunteers to plant flowers in 266 planters in downtown Everett across 12 blocks on Colby, Wetmore, and Hewitt. The planting event is May 6th, and the program technically runs May to October. They're asking for $15,000, with $1,000 going toward marketing and $14,000 going to the operational costs, which would be the flowers, soil, hanging baskets. They have not applied for LTAC funds in the past, and they don't have estimates on how many overall visitors this project would draw, but the program contributes to the positive experience visitors have when they're visiting downtown, and they estimate that it will generate thousands of impressions over the course of the summer. Then we have
Simone, a question on that one, because I was kind of surprised to see that, since it's hard to quantify. Is that type of event, or it's not even an event, is that type of program eligible for LTAC funding?
So that's the trickiest thing about the LTAC funding, is that it is pretty general on what is allowed and what isn't allowed. And so when it comes to like operational costs for an event, I think that those kind of things those are things that are essential to the operation of their program or project. And it definitely has a nexus to, improving and, something positive for our city. So I would say that it's probably on kind of the edge of probably what LTAC could do without, further guidance from people, more well-versed on all of this. But, I think it would kind of be also kind of up to this committee on, how far you think that can go. But, from my understanding of it, it's operational expenses. If they were giving away flowers, that wouldn't be okay. That would really be kind of the real line for it. But that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Okay. Kyle, it looks like you have a question.
This one is one that I actually sort of kind of agree with having. mostly because from a guest perspective, who are coming and staying at my hotel, who are then walking outside down Colby through that little downtown area to the restaurants. I mean, I do get comments in our service scores regarding some of the looks about downtown. And so I think this would be something that I would be behind keeping and actually awarding money to, just because of that aspect.
Yeah, no, I think the program's great. I'm glad to see them doing it. I'm just wondering if this is the funding source that that we should be accessing for it. So, okay. Thanks, Simone.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I feel like this one, it's one that probably could have applied here or maybe like Everett Forward, you know, if they've been around for a while. So, you know, if ultimately this group decides that this isn't, we don't really think this falls into the purview of LTAC, I'm definitely happy to reach out and make sure they know that Everett Forward they're still accepting applications until the end of this month. So
they are. Okay, good. That's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Then we have the Everett Station District Alliance Spring and Summer events. And so the ESDA is hoping to plan multiple community events on a piloted public plaza space in front of Everett Station. And it'll include concerts, food truck events, and more from May 13th to September 17th, 2023. They're asking for $15,000, with $7,000 going to marketing and $8,000 going to operational costs like security. They have not applied for LTAC funds previously, and they're estimating 20,000 visitors and potentially 10 plus lodging nights generated. Then we have the Everett 3-on-3 basketball tournament. So this is a Everett basketball tournament that's put on by Eventuris and the Snohomish County Sports Commission. And this will be on July 15th and 16th. They're asking for $30,000, $15,000 for marketing and $15,000 for operational costs, like referees and other essential costs for putting on the event. They have received money from the Snohomish County LTAC previously, but not Everett. It's free for spectators, but the teams do pay to participate. They expect 10,000 spectators and participants and 225 lodging nights. And then we have the Everett Jets FC soccer season. The Everett Jets are our local semi-pro soccer team, and they're looking for funds for marketing and operations. Their league or their season runs April 1st through July 31st. They're asking for $12,000, and that's $6,000 for marketing and $6,000 for operational costs like their field rentals. Last year, they received $5,000 from LTAC. Tickets to the matches are, they do charge $10 per adult and $5 per youth. They anticipate 4,000 attendees and expect 200 lodging nights. And then we have the Everett History Museum Marketing and Awareness Program. So the Everett History Museum wants to do a marketing and awareness program to help establish their presence locally and beyond through some more marketing and events. And this is over the course of the full year. They're asking for $5,500, which is all going toward marketing, including securing a marketing consultant to help. They haven't applied for LTAC before, and they estimate 3,100 visitors and 300 lodging nights. And then we have Everett Pride. So the Everett Pride group is looking to host a week-long Pride celebration, June 4th through 11th, with events at local establishments like art walks, open mic night, drag brunch, and more, and a main celebration downtown with entertainment, beer garden, and vendors. They're asking for $5,000 with $1,500 for marketing and $3,500 for operational expenses like facility rentals, event rentals, and more. They have not applied for LTAC before, but they're estimating 1,500 visitors and potentially at least a few lodging nights. But this is a new event, so they're still working on those estimates. Then we have Everett Uncorked, which is Bold Hat Productions and the Northwest Marine Trade Association. They're hosting the Everett Uncorked Wine Festival plus a free street fair at the Port of Everett, August 18th and 19th. They're asking for $2,500, and all of that would be toward marketing. They haven't received LTAC money from Everett before, but they have from City of Kirkland for their festival in Kirkland. They do sell tickets for the wine festival, but the street fair will be free to attend. and they expect 2,000 visitors and about 125 lodging nights. Then Fisherman's Village Music Festival. So Everett Music Initiative is hosting the Fisherman's Village Music Festival, and it'll be at a number of different locations downtown. Plus, they'll have their free night market, and it is May 18th through the 20th. They're asking for $40,000, and that's all going toward operational expenses like entertainment, equipment rentals, portable restrooms, that kind of stuff. They've applied the last 5 years, and last year they did receive $20,100 from LTAC. Tickets are $40 per day or $99 for the weekend, and like I said, that night market is free. They're expecting 12,000 attendees and 500 to 600 lodging nights. Then we have the 4th of July parade. So the Everett 4th of July Foundation is hosting the Everett 4th of July parade downtown on July 4th. And they're asking for $6,000 with $1,500 going toward marketing and $4,500 for operational costs like security, portable restrooms, water stations. This is their first time applying for LTAC. The event will be free for attendees and participants, and they're expecting 5,000 attendees and potentially 60 lodging nights. Then we have Imagine Children's Museum Marketing Program. So Imagine Children's wants to engage a marketing firm / consultant to do a strategic marketing plan for the expanded museum. And this is a full year project. So they're asking for $50,000, all for marketing. They have not applied for LTAC in the last 5 years, and they expect 250,000 visitors to the museum this year and 1,250 associated lodging nights. Then we have the International Quilt and Fiber Arts Festival. And so the Pacific Northwest Quilt and Fiber Art Museum is hosting its International Fiber Arts Festival at Angel of the Winds Arena, October 6th through 8th. And they're asking for $15,000 with $7,500 for marketing and $7,500 for operational costs like the facility and equipment rentals. They've applied for LTAC the last 3 years, and last year they received $7,300. They do charge to participate, and they expect 1,500 visitors and 120 lodging nights. Then we have the Olympic Ballet Theater. So they will be having performances of the Nutcracker at the Everett Performing Arts Center, December 8th through the 10th. They're asking for $2,600, all toward marketing. Last year they received $2,600, and this is an event that they charge for. They're expecting 2,000 visitors and about 7 lodging nights. Then we have the Port of Everett winter festivities. So the Port of Everett will be hosting their Waterfront Place winter festivities from November 15th through December 31st. And that includes the Holiday on the Bay Winter Festival, the Pacific Ice Community Ice Rink, and the winter lighting displays. And so they're asking for $100,000 with $20,000 for marketing and $80,000 for operational costs like power, lighting, tenting, and other event rentals. They have not applied for LTAC before, and most of the events and everything is free other than the ice rink, which does require a ticket. They expect 30,000 visitors and approximately 5,000 lodging nights. Then we have the Salmon for Soldiers 10th Annual Day of Honor, and that is on August 19th, 2023. And it's an event where they take veterans and active duty military out for guided fishing trips out of the Port of Everett. And so they're asking for $25,500 with $2,000 for marketing and $23,500 for operational costs like facility rentals from Port of Everett, equipment rentals, and event supplies. They have not applied for LTAC previously, and the event is free for all participants. They're expecting 700 participants and 300 lodging nights. Then we have Salty Sea Days. The Downtown Everett Association is hosting Salty Sea Days, a summer block party in downtown Everett with live music, a beer garden, vendors, and family events, family activities, and that's July 21st and 22nd. They're asking for $32,264, and that includes $4,869 for marketing and $27,395 for operational costs, including private security, entertainment, and event rentals. This event has not applied for LTAC before. It's free for participants, and then they expect 4,500 visitors and 50 lodging nights. Then we have Shack Art Centers, exhibitions, classes, workshops, festivals, and events for this year. And so Shack is doing promotion of their these events over the course of 2023, and they're asking for $120,000, with $100,000 going to marketing and $20,000 for operational costs of hosting events and festivals like event rentals. They've applied for LTAC 5 times over the last 5 years and were awarded $20,000 last year. Most of Shack's events are free, except for the Hearts Benefit Auction and Pints and Pumpkins. They're expecting 85,000 visitors in 2023 and 1,600 lodging nights. Then we have the Snohomish Women's Run Half Marathon and 10K. So it's Snohomish Running Company and Girls on the Run Snohomish County are hosting this run on May 6th and 7th. And so it's a run, and they have like a pre-pump-up party event as well. And so they're asking for $10,000, with $3,000 for marketing and $7,000 for operational costs like facility and event rentals. They have not applied for LTAC previously, and the registration fee is about $60 per person to participate. They expect 2,000 visitors and 750 lodging nights. And then we have the Upper Left Beer Fest and Food Truck Festival. And so Fizz Events and Downtown Everett Association are hosting the Upper Left Beer Fest and Everett Food Truck Festival in downtown Everett on August 11th and 12th. They're asking for $22,500, with $16,000 for marketing and $6,500 for operational costs like event rentals and security. They applied for LTAC the last 5 years, and they were awarded $15,000 last year. $20 to attend the festival, and the food truck festival is free. They expect 6,500 visitors, 3,000 for the beer festival and 3,500 for the food truck festival, and 175 lodging nights. I'm going to take a drink of water. Man, a lot of talking. And then last for Village Theater Main Stage Productions. And so Village Theater will be hosting main stage productions throughout the whole year at Everett Performing Arts Center. They're asking for $40,000 that will all go toward marketing. They've applied for LTAC the last 5 years, and they were awarded $10,000 in 2022. The average ticket price is about $65 for each of the events, and they expect 50,000 visitors in 2023 and 1,750 lodging nights. Wheels on the Waterfront is a car, truck, and motorcycle show that's hosted at Port of Everett on August 23rd, 2023. They're asking for $7,000, with $1,200 for marketing and $5,800 for operational costs like event rentals and portable restrooms. They have not applied for LTAC in the last 5 years. Spectators are free, and vehicle entries are $35 each. They're expecting 2,000 visitors and approximately 25 lodging nights. And then the WIAA 3A 4A Baseball State Championship. So the Washington Interscholastic Activities Association 3A 4A Baseball State Championship will feature the top 4 teams from 3A and 4A schools from across our state for their big games on May 26th and 27th. They're asking for $10,000, all for operational costs like event staff, like custodians, groundskeepers, scoreboard operator, game announcers, that sort of thing. They've not applied for LTAC previously. It does cost to go to the tournament, $16 for the whole thing, or $11 per day. They expect 1,814 visitors and 852 lodging nights. And then last one, we have Wintertide Lights. And so the Evergreen Arboretum and Gardens will host Wintertide Lights at the Arboretum during the month of December in 2023. And they're requesting $15,000, all going toward operational costs, mainly the vendor that comes in to put up all of the lights and take down all of the lights and decorations that they do there. They have not applied for LTAC before. This event is completely free for the community, and they expect to have 10,000 visitors and about 100 lodging nights. So that is all of our applications.
Great. Thank you, Simone, for going through those. So I think, should we go through, I mean, I used that scoring criteria, so I kind of have mine on a grid of, you know, how much I sort of thought they should be awarded, but
Yeah.
maybe we could just go through alphabetically. Does that make sense if we kind of start at the top with Apex? So this is an interesting one. And incidentally, when you do the points, essentially what happens when I was putting points in the scoring rubric, what ends up rising to the top are the things that are in the off season or who are or that are generating a lot of overnight visitors. And I was at first wondering if that was really what we should be doing, but actually it is supposed to be off-season tourism promotion, and we do want overnight visitors. So the fact that those rose to the top that's probably the way it should be. But let's start alphabetically and talk a little bit about the Apex Racing event in July. That seems like a fun event. Again, this is new, right, Simone?
Mm-hmm. This is, I think they've had an event like this previously in Seattle, but it's not something that we've had here in Everett. And so they were excited to, you know, bring the event up here. And, you know, I look forward to seeing, you know, how a bicycle race works up here, you know?
Yeah,
it's not something I've seen before.
And a multi-day event. So it does seem like that would probably generate some overnight stays. Kyle, what do you think about an event like this in terms of what it could bring to your hotel?
I mean, the time of year, July, is already a really busy time for us in general.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna lie, the people that are coming to stay overnight usually are people that are spending an excess amount of money on the bike tournament themselves. Are they going to be bringing money into the area themselves, or are they going to be, you know, they're usually eating healthier, so they're going to be bringing their own items to eat? Like, are they going to be staying at like hotels near it? Or are they going to be looking for better price places outside and then coming into the city? Because we generally have a higher rate at this particular time of year where it's going to push out people that are looking for low rated who already spent an excess amount of money on the race itself.
Good point. I did a couple other calculations. So I was looking at what percentage of their budget they were requesting. And I also was looking at the total cost per participant. And so this turned out, they're asking for about 40% of their budget. But their cost per participant is pretty high. It's $75 per participant. I know that part of that is being offset by their entry fees, but that's interesting. A new event. Simone, what part of their budget or their request was for the marketing piece?
They said $1,000 toward marketing.
Okay, and the rest of it is just for bathroom rentals and things like that.
Operational.
That's what I kind of recall. Well, it's kind of nice to have something new come to town. I know it's not the best time of year, but should we entertain giving them something? I mean, it's nice to pay a little bit for the marketing just because it helps us, but maybe they're asking for 15,000. Would we consider 5,000 for a new event?
I'm just re-looking at this. Did it say how they're marketing? Is it just going to be digital, or is it going to be?
Let me double check.
I don't remember reading what it said in general about it.
Yeah, I don't know if they
Yes.
went into super
I
detail
think
on that.
some were specific and some were not.
Yeah.
But for $1,000, it's not going to be much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with doing some, definitely not the entirety of like 15,000.
Yeah.
You said you threw out 5,000. I think that would be a good starting point since they're a new thing coming to the area.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Okay.
support that, especially since we can always reevaluate as we go down.
Yep. Okay, Gail, does that sound good to you?
Yeah, I'm good putting in a placeholder and then
Yep.
deducting as required.
Yeah, we'll remember
Necessary.
that's one. Okay, and we've got next we've got Caroline in the Park in the Bayside neighborhood. Sounds like a fun event. It didn't score very highly on mine, probably because it's not a lot of marketing and not zero probably overnight visitors. It is in the off season, which is kind of nice, but and what was remind us, Simone, what was their request for? Did they have a marketing component of this one? I didn't take notes on that.
They asked for $3,000 to go toward marketing.
And maybe we would provide a portion of that. What do you think? They're asking us for 80% of their budget, so that seems like kind of a hefty.
Aggressive.
Yeah.
So is this going to be, so this is nothing to do with wintertide. So it's its own situation in the Bayside neighborhood. Where is the Bayside neighborhood? Sorry, I'm not that familiar with that area. Is that?
So it's just north of downtown. Just starting, I think now it starts just past the library, probably about where the high school starts. North, maybe like 10 blocks. So it's kind of the south part of Northwest Everett.
Okay.
So it's going to be like Clark Park, more of that area than the further north end.
Simone, do you know why they aren't applying for a neighborhood mini grant for this project? Or are they doing both?
I believe they probably will. I don't know if they have. I know that's something we're working on with all the neighborhoods to get them to apply for the mini grants.
Yeah.
But that for Bayside, that would be an option as well.
I feel like this is an event that doesn't really fit the LTAC money, but there is other money available. They can apply for a neighborhood grant for this. And those applications, I believe, just opened. Is that correct, Simone?
Yeah, they can still apply.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think I might put a 0 here for now. Okay. 4th of July, the festival itself at Legion. This is a very popular event. It scored fairly well, not the best, because of course it's not in the off season, and on my criteria it's better if you're in the off season, but it did score pretty highly for those that weren't in the off season. Let's see, they're asking for 30 and we'd given them 20,000 last year. Is that correct?
Yes.
This is a great event, and for the number of people that participate, it's pretty cost effective, dollar for dollar. And this was the number one request for the city, Simone, is that
correct?
Yeah.
And part of their budget for this event too is the fireworks, which last year they alone cost $75,000.
Yeah.
Doing them out there on the water is really expensive, but it's like, it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not, I mean, $30,000 request is only 25% of their total budget. So I might be inclined to give them at least what they got last year and maybe up that a little bit.
Did we give them 100% of what they requested last year, or was that less than they requested?
It
I'm
was
just
less
curious.
than what they requested.
Yeah, less. Remember, we had a lot, we had a lot of demand last year as well.
This is a leisure driving event, so I agree going above the 20,000.
Maybe we put a pin in at 25,000. Does that seem
The placeholder.
Placeholder, yeah. And then we come to Wintertide, which is going to score better on my list just because it's so off season.
Mhm.
They requested 50,000 for this. And what did we give them last year? Did you say, Simone? I can't remember.
Last year they received 5,000.
Okay. And I wonder what they requested last year. Again, it's a free event. I am also partial to free things because it's nice for our community to have free things. And I think that some of those fee-based expenses, they can increase their fees if they need to a little bit to cover some things.
So last year
This
they gave them 5,000 and their total budget last year was 30,000. And their full
Okay.
budget this year is 85,000 and they're requesting 50.
Okay, and they've increased, it looked like they had increased the number of things that they're doing as I looked at it. Is that correct?
It looked like a fairly full event, yes.
Yeah, I think they've expanded just kind of all the little pieces the elements that they're including. But probably can't afford 50,000 for them.
It says their marketing was 15,000. I don't know.
Well, they are marketing over a longer time span than what it looked like other people were doing. Like starting at some of like the Halloween events, they had some looks like that's where they were trying to start it. And so I can understand why the marketing would be a bit more.
Kyle, what's your experience with visitors that would stay for this event?
So I will say we did last Christmas. I had nobody. No one said they were coming in for Wintertide. So that's my experience. But I will not lie. I did have a new crop of front desk agents that were still learning the ropes on how to get that information on where and why people were coming. But I think that coming to the desk, you'd be like, oh, I'm here for the Wintertide Festival. I'm here to do this. That's my staff know, they live in the area, so they know what's going on. So I don't feel like we really got anything, at least at our hotel.
Well, I wonder, Gail, you point out that their marketing is 15,000. I wonder if we kind of put a placeholder in at 15,000 to pay for the marketing costs.
Yeah.
Simone, does the city apply to Snohomish County Tourism for funding as well for some of these?
They do. I think for Wintertide, I think they applied, and I want to say this is the one they applied for 20,000 from the county, and they were denied this year.
Okay.
Denied all of it?
Yeah, the county denied them on this year.
That's rough.
Huh. Yeah. Okay.
And that was back in September
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's try to put a placeholder. Let's put it in at 15 and see where we get. Sorticulture. Another great event with a good track record. It's also a little in the off season. And in the past, Kyle, we have heard from hoteliers that this thing really brings in people.
So I wasn't here in June. I was in Kirkland and June last year, so I don't have the experience with them coming to this area. So I mean, if that's something you heard, but I can do a quick search for that name.
I think it's all those vendors. The vendors that come from out of town, as we understand it, are the ones that they all stay over the weekend. And since it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I can't remember who we used to have on the committee, but one of the hoteliers said, "Oh yeah, lots of stays for that event." A lot of people attending, 25,000 people. That's a good attendance. And looks like we gave them 15,000 last year. I mean, I would be open to offering them 20,000 this year.
Yeah, I'm good with that, especially if you're saying that they had pickup in the past.
That's what we heard.
Well, I'll tell you this year.
Okay, good. I know you're keeping track. That's great. This is what we need. Okay, everybody okay with that number as a?
Yes.
Okay. Jetty Island days. This is a very family friendly thing all summer long. Yeah, not the highest on my list, only because of the fact that it's over the summer.
I mean, families spend money, so you have kids, you got food, you've got stopping by, Funko.
Yep.
So I'm all about that aspect.
That's good. And we're also partnering now with the port, so it's it feels like a more kind of cooperative kind of adventure for us, at least. We gave them 20,000 last year, and it looks like they're asking for 45. And is that 45, Simone? In the past, we were paying, I think, for the boat contract. Is that still what they're asking for?
So the 45,000 will go toward their the Jetty Island staff. So
Okay.
the folks that work on the island. And then the port actually pays the full cost of the ferry. And so the ferry expense costs $117,000 a year. And so they take care of that, and then the city takes care of the rest.
Okay. And these are the staff that are over there, part of doing programs. Are they the ones that are also doing some of the programming?
Yeah.
I know they do a lot of good sort of environmental education programs over there as well.
Yeah, so they help people on and off at the ferry, and then they do like some camps during the summer. They do like s'mores on like Friday or Saturday nights. They do like interpretive naturalist walks and some education on like invasive species. So, and then they have things like beach yoga. So they kind of have, a little something for everyone.
Yeah. I really like this program because we don't have good access to our waterfront. And so I think it's really important. I don't know how, I think it's a great tour. I do know people in Seattle that come up for it every summer for fun. I don't know how much they're hanging around to spend the night or go out to dinner, but there aren't services on the island. So if they are in Everett, it's not like they're eating over there. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I would be comfortable starting it at 25, because it does roll a little bit out into the first part of September as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that I'm comfortable with that.
We can always adjust down later.
Yep. Cruise and Colby. This is a very popular event and has grown. It's ended up very high on my ranking matrix because it kind of hits a lot of the points. What about hotel stays on this, Kyle? Are you familiar with that? Were you here? You weren't here in May, you said.
1 second. So I believe this hotel is sort of like a sponsor and a host hotel where they do quite a bit here. So this is something that I would definitely be for giving more than what would be given to some of the others, just because I know it does kind of hit all downtown area.
Yeah.
And it's very popular. So this was very high on my list as well.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard just from talking with past associates and just associates in general that we do get quite a bit of pickup, not just in like room nights, but also people who are just walking down the street, say, oh, they see we have Starbucks, they'll come on in and order something from our bistro, or, you know, so
Right.
I do kind of like this event.
Good feedback.
And I would be okay being a little bit more heavy-handed than we have been so far.
Yeah, it looks like we gave them 15 last year, but I mean, I would be comfortable even going up to 30 for this one. This is a great event, and they've added this concert now as well. So they're really trying to make it something special. And again, it does hit on that off just right before the big heavy season, which I think is good. Excuse me.
Yeah, let's bump it to 30 for sure.
Try that out. Gail, does that sound good with you? Tia?
Yes.
Okay. The Downtown Flower Program. This is one where I agree with you, Kyle. I think it's a wonderful program. I just wonder if we should divert them to other funding sources. And Simone, that fund is not going to be forever, right? I mean, we may end up having them back here, but at some point.
Everett Forward. No,
Yeah.
it's ARPA money. So I don't know how many more rounds we'll do. We've done one before. We have this one. But it's ARPA money, so it's not going to be forever.
I would be inclined to tell them to get ARPA money this year, and also to let them know that we're not saying we won't give them money, but we would like them to use the ARPA funds for this year.
Okay.
How does that sound to everyone?
Sounds good.
I mean, we have so many other we have other requests, and so let's make use of all the funds we know we have available out there, so we can get these events the money they need. And again, we can reconsider this. It sounds like it does fit in the criteria, and we can certainly have them come back in the future when the ARPA funds are not available to them. What are we now? Oh, ESDA spring and summer events. Well, these seem like a lot of fun. They've got a little bit in the off season there, but it's nice to have some new things happening. I love that they're going to do kind of a lunchtime concert series. I know the county has done one of those as well. Not sure we're going to get a lot of overnight stays, but certainly nice to see a few things happening. They've also done, the farmers market has also been down there in the past, and I love having that when it's not on Sunday, because midweek you sometimes need some vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
They're asking for 15 on a $60,000 budget. I think this was one that looked like they were going to ask the county for funding as well. Is that your understanding, Simone?
Yeah, let me double check. I think they did plan to ask the county too, and to go out to get other sponsors.
Yeah, and they might have already had one lined up or something. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think they have at least one sponsor. It looks like they were going after sponsorships, but they didn't apply, or they didn't note that they applied for the county LTAC.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. They're getting the neighborhood, getting some murals installed, and I love their idea of the parking day. I think they must, I didn't have a lot of clarity on that, but I think they might be following that thing where you take a parking space and make a park in it. The grass down and flowers. Is that what they're doing?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah.
Having like because it's a little parklet, so having like a celebration that kind of celebrates that, and I think it's the end of the summer. Their last event, I think, is that one.
Yeah, that's kind of fun. So what were they asking? So they had 7,000 in marketing. So there would be a place to start. Yeah, because there's salaries and wages, I noticed they're allocating, but I think that's their full-time person anyway. So there's not an added cost, I don't think, for this program. Is that your understanding, Simone?
Yeah, so they noted in their budget worksheet, like as an in-kind contribution, that they have their own staff that will be working, and that's gonna be paid for out of LTAC, but that they're just asking LTAC for money really for that marketing and those operational costs.
Okay. It looks like they're also going to get the Everett Forward grant for that, or they're hoping to.
Yeah, I think they're applying.
Okay. What do we feel like doing for this event?
I mean, I'm okay going in the middle.
$5,000 or maybe $7,000 for their marketing piece. Is that what you were thinking?
Yeah, I was thinking 7,000.
Okay. Put them down for that. 3-on-3 basketball tournament. This is off season. They claim they'll have overnight visitors. Do you get overnight visitors for these types of events, Kyle?
I'm looking at the dates. It's not. You said off season, the July 15th, 16th.
Oh,
I mean, we're talking about Everett 3-on-3, right? Is that what we're talking? That's in the middle of July.
Oh yeah.
So it didn't really sit high up on mine, just because we have lots of people already coming in for Aquasox. We have people coming in for like all of the other festivals and things before and after this. So I didn't feel like we would get very much pickup. It would just be maybe players. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this one.
Yeah.
And it just makes me worried, like, who is coming to play 3-on-3? I don't know. I don't know. It's my. Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan.
Okay.
This event happened last year. They didn't apply for Everett LTAC money, but it was pretty well attended. I saw lots of pictures. It was, they had it downtown. They kind of closed off some of the streets right on Colby, and they had a bunch of small 3-on-3 courts, and then they had like a slam dunk competition. So it's kind of a little bit different thing downtown than some of our other events.
What I know about it is it was the first time that we'd ever offered. So that 3-on-3 is usually somewhere like Spokane, and we actually managed to get this big, huge event into Everett. It was a huge deal in the basketball lover world. And I did go, and it was like the most ridiculous, amazing thing I ever saw. That was the best thing I saw last year. I was so excited for Everett. It was fantastic. It was full and bustling. I don't know about the hotel thing, but as far as drawing just this awareness of Everett and Washington, I was excited. So
we had a group block. It only picked up 10 rooms for the entirety of it, so it wasn't a big impact on us here. But I am only one hotel, so I'm sure it could have hit other areas. Where was it? What building was it at? Maybe
it was the entire length of like
Colby?
2 blocks of Colby and also Wetmore.
Okay.
Let's see, what were they asking for money for?
I mean, I think it's
They're
past
asking
the-
for
If we put-
30,000. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we put a placeholder in at 5,000, that would be a third of their marketing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they asked for 30. Could we just go on the entire 15 for the marketing as it for a placeholder? If it's such a good event, I mean, it might not impact my hotel, but I'm sure it's impacting other hotels in the area, especially if that many people are coming from, outside.
Okay. That's fine. We can come back to that if we need to. The semi-pro soccer team, soccer season, and it looks like they got 5,000 last year. Some of this is in the off season. They're asking for 12,000.
Yeah, 6,000 for marketing and 6,000 for like their operational costs, like renting their field.
Got it. And this is a world that I don't live in, so I would love to hear if there are people staying. It didn't sound like they were going to get a lot of overnight visitors.
I think they anticipate about 4,000 people coming to the games, and then they said 200 lodging nights.
Oh,
And part of that is that they play teams from far enough away that they have to stay the night. And so they kind of estimate it out based on their away game, what teams are coming here for games that will end up staying the night, like how many people they'll between those and like their family members that will stay.
okay. Reasonable.
See, and last year I think they said they ended up having 3,056 attendees and 91 lodging nights total.
Okay. They're asking for 12,000. They got 5,000 last year. What are you thinking?
Well, one of the other things they said in there was if they didn't receive the funds, they would have to choose different venues, which would not accommodate fans. So they would have a reduction in people actually being able to come into the city. So there's an effect of them not getting it.
Yeah, that was just worded weirdly for me. I don't know. Without the funds, we would likely play less friendly matches than host matches. I understand those smaller venues.
The friendly means they'll only do like their real matches, and they won't meet for other times. Like so sometimes like they'll have friendly matches outside of their actual league games.
Okay.
So there's more opportunities to have games.
I'm not huge in the soccer world
I'm
either.
I'm a football person in Britain, so I get the friendlies.
Okay.
Breakdown.
Well, maybe
And they have they have sponsors.
they charge admission. Is that true? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you want to just go all in for marketing? Increase from last year to 6,000?
I could
I could support
go with that. Mhm. Everett History Museum Marketing, they're a new applicant and they're a new facility. They're trying to get themselves together. This is one where I'm not sure that people come to the museum and spend the night, but it does create kind of a cluster of things happening downtown. And I'd really love to see them get some funding to help them. Because they do need to do some marketing, and I know that their plans for their facility are pretty great. And if we can get it going, I think that would be wonderful.
Do they have event space or food and beverage items or things that they plan on having sort of maybe events inside there? Because then that might be something down the road. Maybe they are planning on having things like that, which would then generate overnight stays because people are having a good time. I've never been to, obviously it hasn't opened yet, so
It hasn't, yeah.
So that's a good thought process, but I mean, they're asking for so little.
I would give them their full budget,
Yeah.
and just let them get their marketing off the ground. I think they do have space in there to have events, not huge ones, but smaller events. Because the contractor is Cy Newland from Newland Construction, and he was talking to me. They've actually hosted a couple donor things in there where they're serving wine and cheese and kind of showing the place around. So he said it's a really cool space.
It could definitely lead to room nights in the long run. I say go for the full entire, yeah.
And then just to add in, they have 2 spaces. So they have their space downtown that they're working on, and then they have the Van Bailey House. So they plan to have events in both places to kind of test, the spaces out and how well their marketing is going. So they want to have events in June, July, August, and November in those spaces.
Thank you. And then we come to Everett Pride. This is fun and also something new. And I'm really glad to see that they want to kind of take this and run with it here in town. Is that $5,000 they're requesting, Simone? Is that all for marketing?
So $1,500 for marketing, and then $3,500 for operational expenses like facility rentals and like event rentals.
Okay. Well, I would support a full funding on this one too. They're asking for so little, and I'd like to see them have the money they need to really kind of get established.
I agree. I think they're asking for too little, but I agree.
I agree too. I know. I was like, why are they asking for so little? But
and I mean, they outlined what the plans are and things to that effect. I know that it says 2 to 3 nights of, projected room night stay, but really, as someone who has gone to these lovely, amazing events, people from cities in the surrounding area that don't have this, they're going to come in, they're going to book rooms. Because does Marysville have this? Does like Stevens have this? And this is closer than what you're going to get driving all the way down to Seattle, and then you have to worry about parking, traffic. So I would support going full. I wish they had asked for more.
Yeah. See, everyone else good with that?
Absolutely.
All right. Everett Uncorked. So this is in August. I knew some people who, I didn't go to this last year, but I knew some people who did. I mean, some of the feedback was that the ticket price was pretty high. But they're asking for very little. Is that $2,500 that they're requesting, Simone? Is that just for marketing?
They're asking for $25,000.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I had the wrong number.
But all for marketing.
Okay. What is the port? Because I know the port is doing some of these. What's the port's involvement in this?
Yeah, they are at least partially partnering with the port on this, I believe. Let me scroll down. Some of these applications, they provided so much great information that it's like, It takes me a minute to find it.
Yeah.
They received 10,000 from the port.
Yeah, last year. And they
Yes.
anticipate getting more money this year.
Did we give
Okay.
them money last year?
No, they didn't apply. And yeah, they want to use it to do like a tourism thing with like billboards along I-5 and I-90, social media campaigns, media publication outreach, focus on travel and wine riders. So they have a lot of marketing stuff that they want to do.
And is that, okay, it's a 2-day event, is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, August 18th and 19th. And then part of it is also the free street fair. So kind of like adjacent to the wine event is a street fair with like vendors.
Okay. I don't know, Kyle, what do you think of this in terms of overnight stays? Do you think this is something that generates them?
No, because it is a wine tasting event. I mean, I've been to Uncorked. I went to Uncorked to Kirkland. And really you go and you get a select, you get a certain amount of wine taste you're allowed to do. And then it's sort of, oh, I'm done. And wine tastes are what, just under an ounce pour, and you get 6 of them. So you're paying $65 to get these wine tastings and hope you're going to buy things from them. And then you kind of leave slightly disappointed. That's my experience with the Kirkland Uncorked. Didn't go to the Everett last year, so I can't gauge whether it's a better or worse experience. Yeah. But it definitely is not going to generate overnight stays unless someone's coming for like, we're going to come for a wine tasting weekend. But then why really coming to Everett? You would go to the Bothell, Woodinville area.
Yeah.
So that's.
I was wondering.
I mean, I like that it's in, August, getting out of the crazy July. But it's still slightly busy down here in August anyway.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very fee-based and doesn't do a lot of hotel stays. I mean, if we're going to give them anything, I would be very modest, I think, on this.
Yeah, I would bring that down to like 5,000. I wouldn't. That's 25 is quite a lot.
I just always wonder how one person's marketing plan is 25,000 and another's is 5 or 1,500. It's such a huge vast difference.
Yeah.
I mean, billboards are very expensive.
Those billboards, yeah. The billboards are the difference, I think.
When you think about it, when you're driving past towns, you're like, people have never heard of Everett. You see a billboard, you're like, why would I go wine tasting? I don't know. I'm not saying anything about Everett. I love Everett, but still, it's not a place you associate the wine with.
Well, we hope that they will put their billboards up and people will associate the wine with us.
That would be nice in the long run.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll hold it at 5,000 if that's okay with everyone. Fisherman's Village. This is a event that has really built up over the years, and I think generates a lot of activity in the downtown core and elsewhere. What about overnight stays on this at this time of year in May? Is that a good?
I mean, do you guys want to talk? I can see if we had any compression from it.
Mm-hmm. Last year we gave them just 20,100.
And they said 10,500 attendees last year, and then they estimated 650 lodging nights. And I'm not sure if they use Datify, but I think they use something to track that.
Okay. That's good. Because I'm imagining there's probably people that come. I know people in Seattle that come up for this because they really like the music. And it scored very highly on my point gatherer.
Yeah, it scored high on my gatherer as well. It didn't look like we had any hiccup in the group block that they set up themselves. Mm-hmm. But it does look like we had just generalized people booking themselves. Looks like we had about 40 rooms, some being long-term stay that were here for 3 to 4 days. So I am good to push farther for this, maybe like 20, 25,000.
Yeah, we gave them 20 last year. Maybe we'll go to
30.
25, 30.
Oh, I mean, maybe let's do 30. I mean, that was a good amount, and if it keeps expanding, I'm sure we're going to get even more room nights here.
Mhm. Okay, is everyone good with that?
Yes.
4th of July parade, it's coming back, which I'm glad to see. That's a lot of work. It's in July, so it didn't get a ton of, didn't score as highly, I think, as some others would, but I'm glad to see it back. It just builds on that 4th of July festival that we've got going. And I'm sure they'll do some cross marketing on this. Do you think, Simone?
Yeah, I think they're still very much in the like exploring, like they really want to make it happen and really want to, get partners going. And so that's where they're at. I think that this request will probably be a good push, for them on being able to start really finalizing everything. But I do know we got a request in just the other day from someone who wants to be in the parade, who reached out to me and was like, I want to be in the parade.
Oh, I love that.
Well,
yeah. I mean, they're asking for 6,000. Is that all for marketing?
That's broken down.
So 1,500 for marketing and then 45 for operational costs.
Okay.
I like that they have security in there.
Yeah, security, water, porta potties, water stations.
I mean, I would say give the entirety.
Yep, I'm with you.
Me too.
Great. Yeah, I'm glad they're trying to resurrect that. That was a loss. I know people miss the parade, so that'll be good.
What's the route? Is it the same route every year?
Yeah, this will be the same route that it used to be. It'll basically just pick up on what used to be done, but just new people putting it on.
That's great. We come to the Children's Museum marketing project. I know Tia has to recuse herself on this item, but we can still have a discussion. So this is a sort of a market study. Is that what I'm understanding, Simone?
So they want to engage a marketing firm and consultant to help them do a complete strategic marketing plan to help them just better promote the new expanded museum, since they did their big remodel and essentially doubled their space this year. Yeah. And so, they already had a lot of people in there and now they've got even more space.
Yeah. It's great. I love to see them expanding. So their visitors they're telling us their annual visitors and overnight stays, etc.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, since the marketing plan will impact their whole year, they give kind of that data for the whole year. And then the plan would be include new promotional material, updated website with a video tour, social media campaigns, partnerships with local hotels to motivate overnight stays, and that kind of big marketing push.
I like that.
And the project total is $76,540.
And part of that is their staff time. So their out of pockets costs are 50. Is that right? 20
Yeah,
for the campaign and with the firm, and 30 designing and producing the stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I think it'd be great to get that done. That's just helping them have a more strategic approach to things. So I mean, I might say, then they've got a lot of people coming in. I would for sure the full 20,000 for the marketing campaign with the consultant. I think we should cover that, and maybe split the cost of the creative assets. That would
The
put that
35.
at 35. What do we think? Kyle, do
Yeah,
we get a lot of overnight stays from the Children's Museum participants?
Not regularly. I mean, we do have some people that do book entire weekends where they come, use the pool, then they go the next morning, the walk over, because it is literally directly across from us. It's not as much, mostly because we are more of a business traveler type hotel, so it's not excessively family friendly, like no free breakfast, pay for parking, things to that level. But I would agree that you want to get it up and running, and if the marketing firm is going to help give us more people, and they're gonna be like, oh, let's make a whole weekend of it. Let's go downtown Everett. It's so cute to walk. Hopefully the flower people get their money, and it's just like a gorgeous experience. So I'm for 35. That works for me.
Everyone else comfortable with that? Gail, good. Thank you. The Quilt and Fiber Festival. I love this event just because it's something that is so off my radar. But in the past, we have heard that this drives hotel stays. What do you think, Kyle?
It definitely does not drive I was here last year for it.
Okay.
It did not drive hotel stays. It was mostly people that live in the area were going to it. The hotel stays we were getting were like one-offs for the actual people coming to have sort of like stands and things like that.
Got it.
Yeah, and it was a very, I will definitely say this, it was a very difficult few days that they're here, because they're very fun individuals. They're very eclectic individuals. We're gonna put that out there.
I love it.
But it does draw at least the vendor staying at our hotel, so that's something. But I would say 120 room nights is probably correct, scattered across Everett, as opposed to in one generalized area.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And last year, as I recall, they had requested some funding for things that we actually couldn't cover. I don't remember what it was, but that's why we ended up giving them that odd amount, that $7,300. I think we ended up covering their marketing. And then they had requested something else that was not actually eligible to be covered by LTAC funds. So what are they asking for this year, Simone? 15,000.
This year they're asking, they're 15,000, and it is split 7,500 for marketing and 7,500 for operational costs like the facility and equipment rentals. So they're having it at the Angel of the Winds Arena. It looks like they previously had it in La Conner until 2018, and then they brought it up to Everett, and they felt like it's grown a lot since it's moved up here. And then they've been working on the overnight stays. They said that their overnight stays have gone up from when it was in La Conner. Last year they had 58, and that was like a significant increase from previous years. I'm guessing because there's more hotels around here, and
Okay. We gave them 7,300 last year, and they're asking for 7,500 in marketing and 7,500 in expenses. Any thoughts?
Just cover the marketing.
Yeah.
7,500. Okay. Yeah, and it doesn't. It's not a growing event, it's kind of one of those static ones. So I can support just keeping their grant.
Very much a niche market.
This is is this their second year here in Everett?
2018. I think this is maybe their 4th or 5th year having it in Everett.
And I think it got canceled.
Yeah.
2021 probably canceled. So
Yeah.
this is,
2019.
did we give money to them in 2019? Do we have any record of what we gave or how they did compared? Because if it continued to grow from 2019, it was gone for 2 years and then it grew larger since then. I mean, I would be
Yeah.
okay going higher if it's
What they
going to
said
continue.
was, so when they moved from LaConner to Everett, their attendance was stagnant the first year. But then in 2019, the second year that they were here, they saw a 38% increase in attendance. And then in spite of pausing for 2020 and 2021, they had about an equal number of visitors in 2022 as they had in 2019. And so now they're excited to have, another in person, and their goal is to achieve another 35 to 40% increase, which would be 340 to 450 more people this year.
All right. Yeah, then that says definitely just stick with marketing this year. And if we see a more increase, then next year we can probably go a little bit more aggressive.
That makes sense. Olympic Ballet Theater. We gave them some money last year. This is a short run of it's the Edmonds Ballet Company that brings their Nutcracker to Everett. Totally fee-based program, but I'm sure those families probably go out to eat at least. I'm not sure that they stay in a hotel, but maybe a few of them do.
I mean, it's such a low, I would say just in general, just the whole 2,600.
I agree. And it's what they asked for and what they got last year. So they've kind of figured out how to slot themselves into our program here. So I like that. I appreciate that. Next we come to Port of Everett winter festivities. And so this is, I think, new.
I'm out of order.
They are asking for 100,000. And they've got a lot of things going on down there, which I'm glad for. I always feel like, well, the port also, they collect a property tax. And so my opinion of the port is that that they should be using some of those property tax funds to create public access to their events. So I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like there's a funding source that they have available to them, which is the taxes that they collect from property taxes to put on some of these events. So I'm not, if we want to give them something, I'm happy to do that, but I wouldn't be looking at giving them the whole 100,000 because I think
so steep.
there's funding there for them. What part is for marketing of their request, Simone?
20,000 is for marketing, and then 80 would be going to the operational costs.
My guess is that the hotel stays that they would generate would be down at the waterfront. Is that probably right, Kyle?
Yeah, I'm looking into it right now. Let's see. And it was around the same time last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks like we haven't had anybody wintertide since 2020. That's the last I have in my system from wintertide. This is winter something festivities. No, it is wintertide. Yeah.
No, this is winter festivities. It's a little bit new. I think a lot of the stuff they're
winter.
doing is new. They've got that skating rink that they put up, and
we gave them something last year, or did they not?
They didn't apply last year.
Didn't apply.
But I think they have had this event for a few years. They have like the Holiday on the Bay, like holiday festival, and they have Pacific Ice, and they have all the lights that they do there. And I think they're looking to expand the lights that they're doing to bring more people down there.
I like the thought of it, and there is, it's more than just my hotel, obviously. Yep. I mean, there's the Indigo, there's the So,
Yeah.
I mean, I would be willing to just put forward just going in for their marketing
Yeah.
at the 20 as of right now, and just reevaluate at the end whether there's anything left, whether we can reallocate some more.
Sounds good.
And we're doing well budget-wise. So far, we've allocated 264,600, and we still have 280,400. So we're in a good position at this point.
Great. Let's see, Salmon for Soldiers, 10th annual Day of Honor. That it sounded like a fun thing to do. Take veterans out salmon fishing. It didn't rate as highly on my criteria. It's not in the off season. And it didn't sound like there was a lot of marketing that they're going to be doing because they're just tapping into those networks. So the cost per participant was pretty high on my criteria. So that also kind of kept them at the bottom there. And I don't know how many overnight stays will be generated by this. It sounds like is it new here? It says 10th annual, but this is the first time they've requested money from us for it. Is that, it's been going on, but just hasn't requested. Okay.
Yeah, and it looks like they expect, they're anticipating 700 nights potentially, 300 lodging nights, since they're inviting people from all over the area to participate. And actually, they said they have people from outside of the state that come too. So they have people from Spokane that come. So it kind of just depends on how many out of the area people come, I'd guess.
Good. And it's no cost to the participants, right?
Correct.
Yeah, I really like the aspects of this. Like, it's really, like, I really like that.
Yeah. Well, what do we think we want to do? How much of the 25,500 is for marketing versus
2,000.
2,000? Oh,
It's a bit low for marketing.
yeah. Well, they probably don't have to market much because they're just going to tap into veteran networks that are easy to get to. What are the other costs then?
It doesn't have it broken out.
Yeah, so they have
There it is.
like other costs were the operational costs, like facility rentals, equipment rentals, and then event supplies. And so then when it gets to event supplies, like when assuming that they are approved, when it's time for them to be sharing their receipts, like we make sure to be really clear on like what we can and can't reimburse, because we get into like some stuff that it's not really an essential operational cost. It's something extra, like giveaways often we can't reimburse, but like a cup for a wine festival or beer festival we can, because it's essential, so
Right.
get into that.
I mean, can we just do marketing and facility and move forward, or no? So like 14?
Sure.
That sounds good.
Or are you thinking maybe you want to add more? I don't know. I can be swayed because I think this is a good situation. So
Yeah. They're new. Maybe we go with 14 and then see how they do this year and come back to that. And Salty Sea Days is back. So that's going to be in July. And not too highly. They're asking for 32,265. But I like that they're bringing something back. It's the Downtown Everett Association, so that's nice to see them getting involved in that. That's who's doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Simone?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a heavy ask. Are they asking just as that marketing budget?
So they have $4,869 for marketing and then $27,395 for operational costs like private security, entertainment, event rentals.
Well, it's a new event, so they're gonna need some funding. I don't know how many overnight stays that'll generate. And it sounds like it doesn't matter, Kyle, does it? Because July's just crammed for you anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure July is crammed for everybody up here. It's just
yeah, so it'll be.
If we did half, that would pay basically a little over everything minus their equipment costs.
That sounds like a good approach.
I mean, does it say where it's going to be at? It just says summer block party. Does it have like a projected area?
Yeah, I think, let's see. I thought it did, but I might have just been like projecting my own brain telling me where I think it should be.
I mean, because really depending on where it's located will depend on the nights generated. Because if it's going to be right here in the downtown area, there are going to be people who are going to want to drink, have fun, be there till 10 p.m. when the beer garden closes and walk to a hotel. So
it'll for sure be downtown.
So, I mean, I'm okay, it's first time going, trying a bit heavier to see if it produces.
Yeah.
Maybe like, I don't know, like 2025 was my thought process, but.
Let's throw maybe 20 in there.
And see if it produces anything. If it does next year, we could.
Yeah. Sounds good. The Shack Art Center. So this actually was pretty high on my list because I think they do a lot of great events and it's free to the public to walk in. And
full year.
Yeah, all year round. They've always got some new event going on. I know we go to a lot of their openings and go out to dinner afterwards, so that definitely helps. Simone, it says we only gave them 20,000 last year, but I feel like they used to be at a much higher grant level. They were one of kind of our bigger grants.
So they got 20,000 last year, but then this year they asked for more because their grants and sponsorships are kind of across the board have declined over the last couple of years.
Okay, I thought we used to give them more like 80,000 or something.
Let me look.
Maybe not in COVID, but prior to COVID.
I mean, I say just go in at 100 just for marketing because of how much it brings in.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a mainstay of our downtown vibrancy. I'd go with 100 as well.
Yeah,
that sounds good to everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the half marathon and 10K.
Trying to find the old information from LTAC, but it's all over the place.
Yeah. I know that feeling.
So I really like this one. I mean,
yeah.
So it is that we usually host the event, but we have a huge Nintendo event, so we're not hosting this year. So I'm sad that we're not, but I think this one we should give full amount personally because it's such a great event.
Great, and they haven't requested before. It looks like. Yeah, I could go along with full amount. This was a 2-day event too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they have the run and then they also have like a pump up party kind of thing before to get people excited about doing all that
Yeah.
running.
They bring in a famous female.
They'd have to pump it up really good for me to get excited
No,
about doing all that running.
They bring in a famous female runner that is usually on like all of the like magazines and things like that, and people who are really into running they come in for this event.
Oh, cool.
So
I love that.
I'm sad we're not hosting this year. So
Well, you'll get some of the spillover for those lattes.
I'm sure I will.
Upper Left Beer Fest and Everett Food Truck Festival. This has been going on for quite a while. And it's not an off season, but they claim they get some hotel stays.
I mean, yeah,
What did we give them last year? Oh, it's on your sheet here. I feel
Yeah,
like we did-
last year we gave
Oh,
them
15,000.
Yeah.
Did it happen later last year? I felt like it happened later last year.
I think it was
might have.
around the same-ish time.
Okay.
But previously, I think they've done it a little bit earlier and a little bit later. I think it's moved around a little bit. And then now it's out in front of this building, out in front of the Wall Street building.
Mhm.
It's right. Yeah, it's right behind my hotel, basically.
Yeah.
Well, we gave them 15,000 last year, and they want 22.5 this year. Do you get hotel stays from this, Kyle?
We do, because people tend to drink at beer
Yeah.
festivals. I mean, it really all depends what their other is, and under their others. I mean, 16,000 for marketing is good. I mean, I'm okay going in. You guys say you review receipts and things, so I would say we can go in full.
Yeah, so
That's-
their other was like operational expenses. So like the taster glasses, security, portable restrooms. It's surprising how much portable restrooms cost.
I know.
I mean, you gotta lug that stuff around. So,
Mhm.
Yeah.
so I'm for going full, just because it's such a good thing right here in this area,
Okay.
and it starts on a Friday, so we can all leave
Yeah.
work a little bit early and go get some beer.
Yeah. Good. I can go with that. Village Theater, another kind of stalwart of our vibrant art scene. And we gave them 10,000 last year. They're back up, and they had a partial season last year. I remember that's why, because I think we've been at more like 40,000 for them in the past. Just because they have a full year season. So I think it does drive hotel stays. People come from, Stanwood and places where they don't have live theater, and they'll come and stay, go out to dinner and do the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely, and it's definitely walking distance of many hotels and food, and
Yeah.
I say go full 40. You want to get that marketing going, especially since it wasn't a full year last year, to get it back up and running, to get out there.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If I talk too much, you can just tell me.
No, I appreciate it. Gail and Tia will stop us if we're talking too much. Like, halt. Wheels on the Waterfront. That was kind of an interesting one. So
This one kind of made me a little sad. If we don't do it, they won't be able to give in as much money to their cancer charity.
Yeah.
Something that was like, ugh.
Yeah.
I don't think it's much.
I love this, and I say go full for them. Let them get their event off the ground. It sounds like a wonderful thing, and also will be really fun.
Do it. Yeah, let's do it. Hopefully next year they ask for more.
Yeah. The baseball state championship. So we probably better treat these WIAA things the same. That's going to be, well, that's actually in May. So that might be better in terms of hotel stays it rated more highly on my scale. And they're asking for 10,000. Is that for marketing? Simone,
Yeah, they're 10,000. Well, they're having it all go toward operational costs. I don't know if they will really do too much marketing. I think, you know, the students are going to participate and their families are going to go.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you get overnight stays from these types of things?
I mean, where is it being located at? Let me scroll up.
Baseball. It's got to be at
So is it gonna
Cash
be-
Park.
That's off of Broadway, right? Or no?
Or the
I think it'll be,
Johnson Ball Fields. Where is it going to be held?
That's what I'm looking at. I thought it was going to be at the baseball fields down here at Bunko Field. But
yeah, probably. That would make more sense. I guess
it's a tournament that's definitely going to bring in hotel night stays because that's what tournaments do.
Right.
So I mean, I can definitely foresee it picking up that 852.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird that when the money is going towards, it was, I don't know, it looks, I don't know, personal, project specific, 6,000, hospitality office awards, 4,000.
yeah, so it's just the operational. It looks like they're not really planning to do much marketing. It looks like they might do something on the radio or something, but they aren't asking us for any money for that.
And the awards we wouldn't be able to cover, right, Simone?
It kind of gets into a gray area on awards because it's a baseball tournament. So, it's like with the car shows, they can do awards, So it kind of gets into a gray area of not being like an excessive amount. But ultimately, that's also kind of up to this group here. If that's a line that you want to draw and say, no, we don't want it to go toward that, then that's, something we can do.
Yeah, I think like hospitality for people that are coming. I'm not sure that we want hotel motel tax funds to pay for that.
Yeah, the food part would be definitely getting into that probably not fund area.
I mean, the project specific personnel for 6,000, I can get my head around that.
Yeah, let's use this. I'm good going just for the personnel.
I could support that.
The rest just feels very iffy.
Yeah. And then we come to the wintertide lights, which is off season. So it kind of it ended up being higher on my list. It also affects, there are a lot of people that wander through there. I go down at least a few times a season down to the Arboretum. It's really gotten beautiful the way they've been adding on to it. And so the 15,000, is that for mostly for marketing, Simone, or are they using that to purchase more lights? Because I know they've been trying to build every year.
So it'll be it's all toward operational. So I think the vast majority of the 15,000 goes toward the vendor that comes in to put up the lights and take down the lights and decorations, because I can't imagine how much time that takes.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're using Everett Forward grants to buy more lights and materials.
Okay.
Because their marketing
I
is
like
all
this
coming
event.
through the other Wintertide, right? Their marketing is all going to be through them.
They do have some of their marketing through Wintertide, and then they do some stuff kind of on their own.
Yeah, they put up banners out there on the street. But yes, I do. I think that Wintertide, they kind of show the whole cadre of events that the city puts together.
I say just go full in.
I like this event. I think it's uniqueness. Okay. We've got money left. This is unheard of. Okay, what
sorry.
were some of those things that I mean, I think Tia should plug her ears, but I'm thinking that maybe we should go back and revisit the Children's Museum marketing piece.
Okay. Going in full, that's fine.
I might go in full. It's a great asset to downtown, and since we have money, let's help support that. What else did we? I guess some of those city events that the city's putting on, could support. And especially that winter tide there where we really didn't give them a very small amount of what they thought they needed, and it's off season.
I'm gonna go back and open that again and revisit Wintertide to look at it again.
City of Everett.
Yeah, so Wintertide, it was a total of 50 in the request, asking for 15 for marketing and then 35 for all those operational costs. So like the tree lighting, makers market, more holiday decorations, event security, portable restrooms, and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. It's a great downtown event that they take over that park that we built downtown. And
I mean, do you want to round it up to 25?
I think that sounds
So we're gonna
good.
revisit other areas.
Yeah.
Because if we're gonna continue revisiting, I would revisit Cruise and Colby because it's such a great event.
Okay, good. Yep. And we didn't give them. Should we take them up to 40?
Yeah, we take them up to 40.
We have $10,900 left.
Which areas would we like?
I kind of wonder if we don't just give the rest of it to the shack because it's another full year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm down with that because of what they do.
Yep.
So I'm not, almost to what their ask is.
Yep. Oh, I think that looks great. And I'm glad we've got that Apex racing, even though we were a little skeptical of it. It works in the budget and it's we'll see how they do. It'll be fun to see what happens there.
Perfect.
Great.
So
And for the two that we didn't offer money to, we have alternate sources of funds that I think they may be able to get fully funded for those. Because do the mini grants for the neighborhoods, aren't those up to 10,000, Simone?
I think they're more like 1,000 or 2,000, but I'm not positive.
Oh,
but
okay.
Yeah, they're 1,000 per year.
Okay.
And Lisa, do you know if Bayside applied for one yet?
So they historically do apply every year and they do get funding. So we can award up to $1,000 a year. So yes, I would expect that they would apply this year.
Okay. But they may have something else in mind for that.
Yeah, I still agree with what we did, not giving any.
Yeah. You're right. It doesn't quite fit the program. Okay, I'm happy with what we've done. Is
Awesome.
everyone on board? I think we do need to take a vote to approve. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the grants.
Oh, was that?
Approve.
I second.
Okay. Any discussion before we call the vote?
I think it looks really good, solid. There's reasoning behind everything.
Yeah, it's nice to have so many grants to offer, and I think we have a lot of new things that will be fun to see how they do. So all in favor, say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, no opposed and no abstentions. Great. And do we have anything else on? That's it for our agenda.
it.
Thank you for staying a little longer, everybody. I know we went over time, but we had a lot of good applicants. So thank you. I don't know when will this come forward to council for approval, Simone?
It'll be pretty soon. I'll circle back with you probably
Okay.
this week on that, but definitely soon. I think we want to make sure everyone knows by mid-March so they can get going on all these awesome
Yeah,
events.
get going on their spending. Good. Yeah, we can get it on to the next available. Tell Lori I said to expedite.
Okay.
Okay,
Perfect.
great. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good
Have a
night.
good evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.